Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am revealing all of my Inktober drawings. So this is the first time I've ever participated in Inktober, and I am really happy that I was actually able to do 31 drawings in a month. I will admit I did not do them in order, and sometimes I did more than one in one day, but that's because my schedule has been hectic. So here is number one. The prompt is crystal. So I did a tiny little hiker climbing up a gigantic skull with big crystals coming around it. Number two is suit. Now, I had a bunch of different ideas for suit, but the one that I ended up going with, obviously, here is a suit of armor. I also thought of like a suit of cards or an animal wearing part of a suit. I thought that would be kind of cute, or maybe like an old, dirty, tattered suit, but I figured that the suit of armor was going to be the easiest for me to draw, and it turned out pretty cool. Now, number three is vessel. The two thoughts I had for vessel was boat, and then like a vessel in your body. And it was easier to draw a boat, so I did that. I chose to draw a shipwreck on the bottom of the sea. That clearly is broken, and the little mermaid on the front of the boat actually has a skull face. I like how detailed this one is, and it's like not too dark, so it turned out really well. Now, number four is knot. This one might be my favorite. There's a couple favorites and I'll point them all out as we go through, but I chose to try and draw two hands that were tied together with rope, obviously knotted. So I used reference pictures for the hands, and actually I used reference pictures for just about every single drawing in here, just to kind of get the idea and the right proportions. But in particular for that one, I needed a reference for the pose. So number five is Raven, and this one was inspired by Edgar Allan Poe's poem, The Raven. He mentions that the raven sits on a bust of Pallas, so that's what I ended up drawing. The raven, that's the first time I've ever drawn a bird, so not great, but the statue I think turned out really well. A little angrier than the reference picture I was following, but for not doing like a grid to get the proportions exact, I'm actually really happy with the way that it turned out. Number six is spirit. So I thought of ghost or alcohol, so I chose to draw wine. I know wine I don't think is considered a spirit, but I thought it was gonna be cute, so I put little ghosts in the wine just to kind of like combine the two ideas. And I had the bottle in the wine glass, and I thought that was really cute. I saw a couple other people that did something similar for some of the other prompts, but you know, there's only so much that you can think of that's original, right? So number seven is fan. So I chose inspiration from something that I saw a really long time ago, where the fan, or I guess behind the fan, was like a skeleton face and the rest of the person was human. So I googled pictures of like geisha girls, I hope that's how you say that properly, and ended up drawing this. I put it in a box because I wasn't sure how to draw the bottom of the fan and if I wanted to put a hand or not, so I decided to just cut it off. Number eight is watch. So I knew right from the start that I wanted to have a little girl walking through a forest and then have these like creepy little things coming out from behind the trees to watch her. So that's what I did. I tried to play with the perspective of this one by putting everything in the foreground really dark, and then the further back it goes, it would get lighter. I kind of achieved it. It really helped when I added like the circular part in the background there. And again, I'm happy with that one. So number nine is pressure. The first thing that I thought of was a physical representation of what pressure feels like academic pressure or something like that. So I drew my representation of having the weight of the world on your shoulders. That's definitely how I have felt this last month. I've been crazy busy with school. So I, again, used a reference picture, and that's what I turned up with. So number 10 is pick. The first thing I thought of was pick between two doors, and between the two, you don't know what you're gonna get. I liked the idea of having a checkerboard floor, not that I drew it very well, but anyways, I think the point gets across for that one. Next is sour, so I decided to draw a whiskey sour drink because I couldn't think of anything else. Now number 12 is stuck, so I drew a cat stuck in a vase with its head. As you saw, my cat Smudge decided to make an appearance, which is fitting because I was drawing a cat and he is a cat. So number 13 is roof. So I decided to draw this cute little toadstool house. I hope it's a toadstool and not a mushroom, I'm not really sure, but either way, it's a cute little cottage looking thing. I really love this one. This one actually might be one of my favorites as well. And then moving on, the next one is tick. That's number 14. So I decided to draw a scientific drawing of a tick. They're absolutely disgusting. That's what I learned after drawing this. And it's really nasty that they like give you diseases by burrowing their heads into your body. Yuck. So anyways, this was kind of gross to try and draw. And of course I chose to draw it incredibly large, but whatever. Anyways, this one took a really long time because it's a whole lot of stippling and dot work, but I'm glad that it turned out looking like a tick at least. Number 15 is helmet. This one's a little bit morbid. It is supposed to be a soldier's helmet with a splat of blood on it. Number 16 is compass. Originally, I wanted to draw a bird's eye view of a person lost in a forest holding a compass, but I could not figure out the perspective for that. So instead, I settled for drawing a broken compass, so the glass is shattered in the compass there. It's not perfectly circular, but we're not going to talk about that. Number 17 is collide. Again, I really struggled with this prompt, but I ended up landing on a meteor coming to hit the Earth with the dinosaurs on it. So the meteor was coming to collide with the Earth. Number 18 is moon. I also struggled with this one, surprisingly, but I ended up drawing a spooky little Halloween scene with a little graveyard, some trees, and then there's a witch flying over the moon, and there's just some darker clouds in the background. Number 19 is loop. I decided to go a little creative with this one, not to toot my own horn, but I did a loop fingerprint. So there's 3 different kinds of fingerprints, and I chose to draw the loop one on a glass. Number 20 is sprout, and I was either going to draw a plant coming out of like a freshly dug grave, a plant in a barren landscape, or a person sprouting a new body part of sorts. Obviously I ended up going with the dry ground, and again, that one is definitely one of my favorites. Now, number 21 is fuzzy. I decided for that I would draw a werewolf. I was following along with the picture from a how to draw a werewolf tutorial, so to the person that made that tutorial, thank you. I would have never been able to draw a werewolf otherwise. Number 22 is open. I wanted to draw a eerily left open door. And what better way to draw that than to have a creepy hand on a dirty looking door that is clearly open. This reminds me of like every stereotypical like horror movie. So I guess that's, I got what I was going for. Number 23 is leak. I decided to draw a grungy looking sink that is just dripping water because it doesn't work properly anymore. Again, this is probably one of my favorites. I just love how simple it is, yet it really gets the point across and it's like detailed enough. Number 24 is extinct. For this one, I chose to draw a megalodon because they are supposedly extinct. Sharks are my favorite animal, so of course I had to draw a little shark. And then of course there's a tiny little diver, just to kind of show scale, I guess, of the shark. Number 25 is splat. This one I love. I took a really long time drawing this one because I wanted to include all the details. So if you've ever seen Beetlejuice, there is the roadkill man who is like hanging on the ceiling and like slides around. And I knew that he was perfect for splat because, you know, he got splatted into the road when he was run over. So anyways, it was really difficult to find reference pictures for the roadkill man just because there weren't a lot of like movie screenshots where it showed his entire body. So I didn't get the legs quite right, but that's okay. I got the majority of him correct, and that's what matters most to me. Again, I'm really happy with this one because there's so much detail, and I think I really was able to demonstrate how I can shade with like hatching. Number 26 is Connect. This one is Criminal Minds inspired. There was one episode that I watched where they were hunting a serial killer that would steal, or I guess kidnap people, cut off their leg, and then reattach somebody else's leg to them to see if it would work. So that's why I chose to draw the hand and the foot with stitches on them. Number 27 is Spark. So I decided to draw a mad scientist holding two like jumper cables or sparking wires, because that was like electricity, and I thought that would gonna be cool. I was inspired by Frankenweenie for that one. Number 28 is Crispy. For this one, I was inspired by the Van Gogh paint, at least I think it's Van Gogh, the painting of the skeleton with the cigarette in his mouth, so I decided to draw that. And then to add a little bit of my own touch on there, I made flames on the skeleton. I am incredibly happy with this one. I think it would make a super sick tattoo. So yeah, what are we on? Favorite number 4 at this point? Number 29 is Patch. The only thing that I could think of was a patch on like jeans, like when you rip your jeans. But then I took that a little further and was like, oh, well, you can patch up other things. So I decided to do a stuffed animal, but of course, to make it Halloween themed, I decided to draw a creepy stuffed animal that was being patched up. Number 30 is Slither. This one, I kind of took inspiration from Pinterest tattoos that I see all the time and decided to draw a snake wrapping around a hand. The only change really that I made was to have the snake with its mouth open and like fangs bared. Other than that, you can find this as a tattoo on Pinterest like all over the place, but it made easy references because of that. Now the final drawing of the month, number 31, is Risk. I think of risky activities when I think of Risk, that or the board game, but I didn't want to draw a board game, so instead I chose to draw base jumping. I am afraid of heights, so I personally would never go base jumping, and I think it's absolutely wild that people like jump off a cliff in a squirrel suit. Crazy. That's why it's risky. Anyways, here's my flip through of the drawings for the entire month. Some of the drawings I did add details to after I stopped filming, just because I was looking at it and it needed a little extra something, but most of them stay relatively the same. Again, I have multiple favorites, and I'm really proud of myself for actually doing Inktober this year, because I've been telling myself for the last couple years to do it, and then I managed to do it this month, even though I don't think I've ever been this busy like in the last year. So it was really difficult to do all 31 drawings, but I did it, and I'm happy with the majority of the things that I drew. I'm gonna be posting every single one of these pictures all at once, so if you check out my Instagram, you'll be able to see each individual drawing, and then I'm also going to put them on my story to make a highlight reel so that people can go back and look at them together and like remember the prompts and where they came from. So anyways, this is probably one of the longest videos I have ever posted. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me draw all 31 drawings for Inktober this year. I really hope that I can participate next year. Don't know what life is going to look like because I will no longer be in university at that point. So hopefully I will have time just living my normal life to still do a drawing, and maybe I'll do Inktober properly next year, where I do them in order and one per day. Imagine that. Me actually following a drawing challenge properly. Can't relate. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I make new videos every Monday afternoon, 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next week.